Good morning, and what is about to be a very, very busy day, perhaps one of the biggest days in the history of the Premier League, in the history of English football, and in the history of Manchester United. We're going to get into that for sure. We're going to look at Declan Rice to Arsenal, what's happening here, and a deal that looks like it's moving very, very quickly. Chelsea also hunting for a new number one goalkeeper. Onana is their key target. They also like Mike Mignon at AC Milan, but they have talks over Onana booked, and that will also have effects potentially on Koulibaly, Lukaku and Trevor Chabala. We'll talk about that. Rangers are set to sign their new striker as well. We'll talk about that. And Celtic's manager hunt also underway. Brendan Rodgers still a key target, so we'll get onto that too. Before we do though, please make sure you subscribe. It really helps us out. Make sure you hit like and share this video with a friend. So let's talk about today. Let's talk about Manchester United. Sheikh Jassim and the 9-2 Foundation, according to Qatari media last night, have won the bid to buy Manchester United. The figures being quoted are around the £6 billion mark, which is astonishing numbers for a football club. Now, of course, this has all came out of the Qatari media last night, but interestingly to note, they can't really put much out without the States. Okay. It also originally came from an outlet which is part owned by Sheikh Jassim's father. That is also key to note. It's starting to be picked up more today, and it definitely feels like the end game now, and the Qataris are on their way to owning Manchester United, which would put Manchester United back on level terms with those around them, with the Manchester Cities, with the Newcastles currently as well, with the PSGs as a mega money club. They also can spend a lot of it because they can spend 70% of their income, of their revenue, and Manchester United earn more than any other club. This could be a huge, huge summer for Manchester United. There's a long way to go on this. I know it's end game, but end game in a takeover isn't quite as quick as end game in a transfer. Sometimes we talk about these things like it's a transfer for a player to a club, and it's not the same issue. What I will say is very, very interesting, though, is we know that Sheikh Jassim very, 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 very much likes Kylian Mbappe and has said before he dreams of bringing him to Manchester United. Yesterday, Kylian Mbappe obviously handed in his transfer request to PSG effectively by saying he's not going to sign the extension or trigger it, which means PSG have said either you sign it or you're being sold, which basically puts him on the market this summer. Real Madrid obviously alerted they would move heaven and earth to afford to get him there. Clubs, the Saudi League itself will be able to pay him what he owes, maybe Manchester City as well. But with Manchester United with Qatari owners, they also would be able to bring in Kylian Mbappe. Apart from that, it's very difficult for any other club to manage the money and manage the finance that would be involved to bring him in. Maybe Todd Boehly and Chelsea could pull something out of that magic hat of his, but that would certainly be very, very surprising indeed. And that means Manchester United fans are probably waking up really excited today. There's endgame, it's on the way now. Today is the day you're going to start hearing a lot about this. And obviously the Qataris now extremely confident that they have Manchester United in the bag, and that has huge knock-on effects for what could happen in the future and in summer as well, for the stadium, for the training ground. So much investment in the area. The women's team, all parts of the club set to be brought into 2023. One of the major deals that is being done right now is Declan Rice. We'll talk about Declan Rice. Declan Rice to Arsenal, effectively 99% done. A £92 million deal, we believe, up front that will rise to over £100 million with add-ons. Declan Rice had said yes to Arsenal, as I put out recently already. He'd already verbally agreed to the project, to the position, to how they'd use him, the wage, the length of the contract, everything. So it was down to clubs to come to an agreement. Arsenal already knew that West Ham were looking for a figure near the over £100 million mark, and it looks like they're about to come close to that agreement now, moving in a positive direction for Declan Rice to be an Arsenal player. Not a done deal until he's obviously all signed, sealed and delivered, but that is now moving in a very good direction for Declan Rice. Arsenal believe they are signing their club's future captain and the future England captain as well. Huge day for Declan Rice. Big day for West Ham as well, because they will spend that money in key areas. Look out for the likes of James Ward-Prowse here, potentially Harvey Barnes, although he is wanted and courted by Newcastle United. So a big, big challenge to try and bring him in there. And then there's Chelsea. I spoke about Todd Boehly's magic hat. Well, he's trying to use it to get Andre Onana in from Inter Milan. The goalkeeper has sensational in the Champions League final. Incredible passing ability that he has. He's obviously the more modern goalkeeper, certainly, and he's Chelsea's #1 target to come in to Stamford Bridge this summer. We knew they wanted to strengthen. Some reports of David Sanchez at Brighton being spoken about. Sanchez was on the list, but my understanding is he would be a backup should anything not happen with Onana, and potentially Mike Maignan at AC Milan if they decide to go for him, as he is a goalkeeper they absolutely adore too. Inter Milan looking for around the €60 million mark for this. Chelsea had an idea in their heads, we believe, of around 45-50, so it already sounds like they're reasonably close in an agreement to begin with. What I'll also say is that Lukaku and Trevor Chalobah could both be quite interested in this. Koulibaly himself also a key target for Inter. Trevor Chalobah has been wanted by Inter for over a year. They inquired about him in January, and Chelsea were unsure what to do, but if it could facilitate a move for Onana, potentially Lautaro Martinez, then it's something that might come up as well. Chelsea have, from what I've been told, had no intention of keeping Lukaku at the club, and Lukaku has no intention of staying at the club. Will Inter Milan secure him for a low fee deal, because Chelsea are not going to make the money back that they paid for him? That's something that they'll talk about as well. Look out for Juventus with Lukaku as well, though. And then Koulibaly, after one season, I've said before, a return to Italy is something that he's always been open to, despite only being at the club for a short period of time. A return to Italy is something that Koulibaly has always been open to, and that avenue is certainly opening up with Inter Milan, who would be absolutely keen to bring him in summer, which means there's leverage for both clubs to do something here, especially around Onana. Keep an eye on this over the next week. Chelsea are going to have a meeting with Inter Milan in the next couple of days to talk about this. Onana, #1 target for Chelsea as their new goalkeeper. Rangers in Scotland are closing in on their first signing, Sam Lammers from Atalanta, on a £3 million deal. They obviously had to release Alfredo Morelos. His contract expired and the time was up for both parties, and he moved on. Antonio Kolak's future is uncertain, and Rangers closing in on Sam Lammers. That's a deal that we understand is now done, and they're expecting to bring him in. A very good, talented player that has been chased for a while by a number of clubs, and it now looks like Rangers have won the race for his signature. So in Glasgow, Rangers looking to bring in a new striker, and we expect them to bring in another one too. They've been in talks with Cyril Dressers as well at Cremonese, and those talks, we understand, have been ongoing. We'll wait and see if they get that over the line as well. Across the city, Celtic still looking to hire a manager after losing Ange Postecoglou to Tottenham Hotspur. Brendan Rodgers, as we've been reporting, the key target for Celtic. They've had one meeting, we understand, in Spain, and another meeting is to follow. And Celtic are now closing in on making Brendan Rodgers the next manager of the football club. That would be a huge return, a big story in Scotland, obviously. He didn't leave, perhaps, with the best wishes of the Celtic fans in the manner that he left, but a lot of them now seem open to a return, although there is a bit of a split there. So if he is to come back, it'll be interesting to see the response from Celtic fans. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But it'll be interesting to see the response from Celtic fans should Brendan Rodgers be given the job. Kajeto Knutson was in running too. Francesco Farioli was spoken to as well. Amaresca at Manchester City was also in the running as well. But Brendan Rodgers closing in on that position, and once again being Celtic manager, it is a real possibility too. Huge day in football, a huge couple of weeks ahead in the transfer market. We are a day away from the transfer window opening. We already know there's some huge deals getting done. Declan Rice getting done, massive deal as well. Where's Ilkay Gundogan going to end up too? Caicedo transfer, you've had the Ugarte saga already. And of course Mbappe, let's not forget that. Huge start to the window, huge start, and it's only going to get quicker and quicker. I suppose I should get the caffeine out. Massive review this morning. Speak to you tomorrow morning. Later on you can catch another video on here from one of our pundits. But Man United fans are getting excited, you can understand why. Arsenal fans are getting excited, you can understand why. Chelsea fans, it looks like you finally have a goalkeeper, almost, or a target at least, are hoping a #1 goalkeeper. Rangers fans, striker on the way in, and Celtic could have their former manager back in charge. Huge day. Make sure you like and subscribe. You can find me on Twitter, links in the description, as well as every link you need for Football Insider. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.